Harvesting herbs is more about the temperature than the month itself. You may be growing tender annuals that need to be harvested now, or hardy perennials that will return in the spring. I'm going to show you the best ways to harvest and preserve your herbs so that you can enjoy them all winter. Annuals will die back after their first year production. Biennials will come back in the second year and will flower. Basil is a cold sensitive annual, and now that temperatures are dropping, it's time to harvest all of your leaves so that you can preserve them for pesto, salts, and you can even put them in the freezer. Alternatively, we can lift the plant, repot it, and bring it indoors and continue harvesting all of the fresh leaves as long as possible. So now that we have our basil plant pulled, you can see that a lot of the original soil is still attached. So we're going to add compost to a well-draining pot. Put your plant in the pot and just tuck in all of those roots. Top it off with more compost and then sprinkle it with some bone meal, which is a slow release fertilizer to help support those roots. Water it in well and then put it in a sunny windowsill. Cilantro is a cool weather crop. I planted this in August. It's still very young and it has a lot of growing to do. Cilantro can tolerate some pretty low temperatures. However, a hard frost can damage the leaves. I harvest my cilantro when the temperatures have dropped below 40 consistently. If you still have milder daytime temperatures, you can actually drop your cilantro seeds now. They will overwinter and you'll have an early spring crop. You can, when harvesting the leaves of any of your herbs, it's always best to do so first thing in the morning when the flavors are most concentrated. When it's time to harvest, you can pull the entire plant. Until then, you can harvest individual leaves by starting with the outer leaves first and trimming just above the base so you don't damage the plant. Parsley is even more cold tolerant than cilantro. This was also planted in August, and this will continue to grow into early winter. Similar to cilantro, you'll harvest the outer leaves first, and you will trim just above the base so you don't damage the plant. Parsley is a biennial, so you don't want to actually pull the plant. In the second year, it will flower, and you can harvest its seeds. Chervil is in the same family as parsley and cilantro, and it can tolerate temperatures in the 40s. You'll harvest chervil the same way you harvest your cilantro and parsley. However, it is more cold sensitive than the other two, so monitor temperatures, and when they're dropping below 40, it's time to harvest all of your chervil. Another herb in the same family is dill. Carrots, celery, and parsnip are also in the same family. Now, when you harvest dill, you can harvest the entire plant and preserve everything, including the stem. I would suggest leaving a couple in place, like this one that has already gone to seed. Once it dries, it will drop its seeds and it will reemerge in spring. You can harvest the seeds, sprinkle them now in a different location, or store them in a seed organizer and plant them in spring. When it comes to perennials, pruning is best done in late winter and early spring. Pruning now before the harsh winter can damage these plants and they may never recover. Be sure to subscribe. I'll put out a video in spring showing you exactly how to prune these. We never want to prune more than 1/3 of these plants at any one time. Lavender is a semi-woody perennial herb, and it will never regrow from its woody stem, so you should never cut into the stem, only cut into the green new growth above an existing leaf node. Lavender doesn't flower until its second and sometimes third year. This lavender is in its second year, so I expect it to flower next year. The green leaves are still very fragrant. If you do need to harvest these, in the case with lavender, I'm going to make a lavender eye mask. I'm only going to take what I need. If you cut it too drastically this time of the year, it may not recover before the harsh winter. I still left a lot of green growth on here. It will help to insulate those stems and it will support the growth in the spring. Sage is a sub-shrub, and unlike lavender, you can cut into its woody base. I did not prune my sage in spring, and you can see that it's actually quite tall and leggy. It could benefit from some pruning, which will help it to bush out, but that's going to have to wait until spring. If you'd like to preserve some of your sage for overwinter, harvesting should be done minimally, and you're looking for the mature green leaves. Only take what you need and leave the majority of the plant intact. Never cut into the stems at this late stage because they will not recover and they will eventually die back. Mint is an incredibly resilient, aggressive grower and can be considered invasive. It's meant to be grown in pots. If you grow it in the ground, it could take over by underground roots, and it may even pop up in different areas of your garden. Mint will completely die back in winter, and in the spring, new shoots will emerge from the base of the plant. At that point, you could trim away some of the old woody growth. In fact, it may actually look dead to you. Do not throw away your mint plant. I assure you, it will definitely come back. Continue harvesting your fresh leaves by cutting above a leaf node. This is always the best approach, even throughout the growing season. It will continue to bush out the plant. As temperatures drop below 40, it's time to harvest your mint for overwinter. Take what you need, but always leave about 3 to 4 inches above the soil line so that the plant can recover next year in spring. Oregano is another incredibly hardy, aggressive grower that spreads through underground roots. It can be divided and transplanted. This has been divided and transplanted many times over the years from a single plant. During the growing season, it can withstand a more aggressive cut. But now that temperatures are dropping and you're looking to harvest some of your oregano, you want to do it lightly. Always take from the newer, greener growth, and as a best practice, always cut above an existing leaf node. In the spring, when it emerges from its base, similar to mint, you can cut away all of the old woody stems. We've covered all the best ways to harvest your tender annuals, your cold, hardy biennials, and how to ensure that all your perennials come back even stronger next year. Stick around, I'm going to give you some quick and easy ways to preserve all your herbs. Oregano is best preserved by drying it because it retains its concentrated flavor for a long time if stored properly. I use this dehydrator. It has 5 shelves. It takes about 5 to 6 hours at a temperature of 115. Alternatively, you could dry it in your oven on its lowest setting. Store your dried oregano in a glass jar with a tight-fitting lid in a cool, dark location, and it will last you all winter. Lavender is easily dried on a rack like this, or you can tie it in bundles and hang it to dry. Once dried, you could use it in any way you like. Freezing the delicate leaves of parsley, dill, and mint in ice cube trays is a great way to retain their flavor and to use them in cooked dishes. I'm going to show you how to do this with chives, but it works the exact same way with all of the herbs mentioned. Use a scissor to cut the herb directly into the ice cube tray. Then top it with some cold water and place it in the freezer until it's fully frozen. Once completely frozen, you can store these in a Ziploc freezer bag. You could defrost them on the counter, or you could throw them directly into your soups, your stews, and your sauces. One of the easiest ways to preserve and prolong your basil is to take a cutting, put it in some cold water, change out that water every week, and once it forms roots, you could pot it up in some fresh soil and or compost. I have an entire video dedicated to all the ways that you can preserve basil, from salts to freezing to pesto. I even have a cocktail recipe in there. Go check out that video. Freezing sage is a preferred method to drying. However, if you would like to dry your sage, you could do it the same way that I showed you how to dry the oregano. After you've given it a good rinse, pat it dry, put it in a bowl, add a little bit of olive oil, give it a good toss, make sure that both sides of the leaves are completely coated, and then take a piece of parchment paper on top of a rack so it doesn't stick to the rack, put it in the freezer. Once frozen, put it in a freezer bag, and then you can pull out individual leaves for cooking. We covered a lot, from harvesting to best pruning practices to preserving all of your herbs. Drop a comment below, let me know what you'd like me to cover next, and follow for more garden tips.